Hi, this is Deepak. So, guess where I am? I'm in Chile right now. I just got into Santiago a little while ago, and I've just checked into the hotel, so I thought I'd catch up and answer today's question. I'm a day late. The questioner is Annabelle Baba. And she says, where does the energy go after death? I was married for 26 years, and after my husband passed away, that night I felt a strong pound in my chest, and I felt his energy pass through my body, wondering if others have had this experience. And so I noticed that my co-author, Menas Kafatos, answered this question by saying, the energy goes back to the universe. You feel the pain of separation that expresses itself as a pound on the chest. The experience you described is wonderful. Clearly, you have a bond that continues even after his passing away. But you know that already. Okay, so this is the best answer you could get from Menas. Let me expand on this a little bit, though. And the way I want to expand on it is that death happens to an experience, okay? And experiences are modifications or modified forms of what we call the self, which is our core being. And those experiences are in the form of sensations, feelings, thoughts, and based on that, of course, intuition, creativity, on and on, everything that we call reality. So those experiences include what we call the world, they include what we call the body, and they include what we call the mind. Sense perceptions are basically the world and the physical body. And then the feelings of pleasure and pain are a result of interactions with other sense perceptions. And then the interpretation of those sense perceptions that we call thought are also modifications of consciousness that create human constructs. So human constructs then are mind, body, universe relationships. So if that is clear, then we realize that what we call a person, Annabelle, Deepak, your husband, that is a process in awareness. And what we call energy and matter are concepts or constructs around modes of knowing and experience. This is very important to understand, because if you do understand this totally and completely, you'll realize that body, mind, universe, the person also is a human construct and human consciousness that, of course, is a description of a phenomenon, of a process. What we call the mind is a phenomenon, a process. What we call the body is a phenomenon, a process. What we call the world is a phenomenon and a process. And so the process arises and subsides from you, the formless being, which is not a process but which modifies itself as the process. And as it modifies itself with the process, it goes through a life story, which is a qualia program. And so that is what is happening all the time. And that generates, all kinds of anxieties and sufferings, because you cannot hold on to a process. You cannot grasp a process. You cannot even recoil from a process, although we do so. And then you also identify the process as you, which is the ego or the conditioned mind, and as the body, and then of course that generates fear of death, fear of separation, etc. But at the deep level, if we are being and all relationships are in being, then those relationships, like everything else that is a process, recycle in the universe. There should not be an exception. After all, energy recycles, what we call matter recycles, what we call information recycles. So consciousness may also be doing the same thing, recycling. And so every relationship, therefore, in this understanding is a karmic relationship built around past experiences or karma, interpretation of those experiences. Also, sorry, there's an interrupt here. And Deborah Ballard Quinn says, just returned from a funeral. I am sorry to hear that. And talking about a friend who was only 45, this is needed right now by me. I allow how the universe guides me. Well, that's a synchronistic comment right now coming to you. So just remember that since you are a being that is timeless and all your experiences are a process, and if everything recycles and if you understand this deeper meaning of karma, then all relationships are meant to take us to an elevated level of awareness, and they keep recycling till we totally get self-realization or freedom or moksha. So I'm enunciating something in modern terms or explaining something in modern terms, which is basically a deeper understanding of the web of karma, relationship, meaning, purpose, elevation of consciousness, desire, sanskara, vasana, all that stem from seeds of experience that are embedded in our core consciousness, or what we call jiva. So I would say to all of you, grief, of course, is very natural, and we should go through it in order to heal ourselves. As Rumi says, the cure of pain is in the pain. But at the same time, we should have a deeper understanding that the self is both the subject and the object of experience. And that in the deeper reality, subject and object are not separate in space and time. They are only separate in perception. And our perception is self-interaction, differentiating as me and other, as lover and beloved, as seer and scenery, as observer and observed. And when we get to that stage through basically self-awareness, deeper self-awareness, questioning every form as a phenomenon, and realizing that every phenomenon is constantly arising and subsiding in our own being, then that being is timeless. Only the phenomena and the form is in time. This ultimately leads to what is called moksha, or freedom, because we dwell in the transcendent realm of possibility that is constantly assuming form and phenomena. What is called the transcendent and the immanent, the noumena and the phenomena. And of course, when I'm explaining this sounds very dry and kind of intellectual, but constantly go back and go in your being and realize that everyone lives in each other's awareness. We all live in each other's being. And the deeper we go into our own being, then we realize that relationships are actually relationships with the self as me and other. And this is the true meaning of love. Love not just as a sentiment or an emotion, but love as the ultimate truth at the heart of creation. So I elaborated a little bit on the answer Menas already gave you, and I hope that helps a little bit. Okay, I'll give you a little glimpse from what I'm outside my window. This is the city of Santiago in Chile, and I am in the west side of the city, and tomorrow morning I do an all-day seminar on the soul of leadership. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll be in touch, and God bless you, and stay in touch with your being, and with that you'll be in touch with all beings. Lots of love and take care.